Now, many companies have found that the best way to be successful is to do more than just be a marketing organizations. Because with a marketing organization, here's my ad, here's my public relations, whatever. With the more successful companies, they're finding better ways to interact with their particular customers. And they make the sum of the whole, everything they're doing, greater than the individual parts or individual tactics that they're doing. And so let's look at a handful of examples of how some different companies are doing this. One example is from Red Bull, the energy drink. Now, sure, they've got commercials and ads and so forth about drinking Red Bull, but what they're doing is they're also creating events. There are events where they have airplane shows, they have bike rides, they're sponsoring race cars, they're doing all sorts of things that bring people together, and they're going to have it all branded in the Red Bull, so on and so forth. But people are getting to experience the brand. It's almost like they're going over to a friend's house for a party. That's the kind of situation where it's going just beyond the marketing. It's going more into an event that people get excited about. Maybe you've heard of a company called Chick-fil-A. They sell chicken sandwiches basically, and a lot of people like them. And anytime that I've been to one of them, there's always a line, and the food seems to be really good if you like chicken. Well, what do? They have events where they turn, for example, they'll run a 5K. I went to one of these in Pittsburgh, and they took a field and they turned it into a fair where they had booths where you could throw balls to hit pins, old time fair. You could play different games and so forth. You could win t-shirts, you could win free sandwiches. And with the 5K they were running, they also had some kids dress up in gigantic cow costumes, because their big branding element is cows trying to convince you, falling off of billboards or wherever, to eat more chicken. Instead of eating beef, they're trying to eat chicken. So there's the whole play on all of that. But they put all of that together. They also have things like date night, where father-daughter dances, or things where they can bring families into the store and do different things with them. So that's way more than just, hey, come to our restaurant and order a sandwich. It's starting to become an event that people like and will remember and share time together. And so that changes their opinion and feelings about the organization. When you think about Nike, they have different stores they use, each one a little different experience for their customers. And so the customers can interact with the brand on different levels. For example, they have the retail, where they can go out and you can see all of that. They have branded Nike Town stores that are around. NikeTown.com is also out there. They've got catalog retailers where you can go in there and find all of that. You can find them in outlet stores in an outlet mall, and maybe even specialty stores where there are higher end Nike products. So they're allowing people to access and interact with the brand in different types of store formats. Ocean Spray is a drink made from cranberries. And so to make that come alive, what the brand did was hire a couple actors that looked like farmers who were working in the bog where the cranberries are picked, and they're basically sitting in the water and so on and so forth. And so they have all of those images of the cranberries. Now, one way they tried to bring that to life was they created an event that was launched in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, and they took basically water fountains and turned them into cranberry bogs. And so people could go up and they could see the cranberries in there, and they could talk to some of the representatives and so on and so forth. So it makes it a different way for people to think about Ocean Spray and say, wow, that's kind of cool how the drink is made and where it comes from and everything else. Jeep which is a car manufacturer, has a number of different models. One of their flagship ones is called the Jeep Wrangler. The Wrangler Unlimited is 4-door, the Wrangler by itself is just a 2-door. And one of the things they do is they organize a number of off-roading events. In fact, the Jeep Rubicon, which I actually own one of these at the moment, is supposed to be the world's premier off-roading vehicle. I don't know how true all that is, but there's plenty of videos of where these Jeeps are climbing over big rocks or up mountains or wherever, and they're very good at rough terrains. And so they basically create events for people, and a couple thousand Jeep owners will show up. There's one actually north of Pittsburgh here every year in the summertime, and they see how muddy they can get their Jeeps and how much stuff can go in them and all of the different courses and everything else that they pull through. I will tell you, when I take my beach to the Outer Banks, where you can ride on the beach with your 4-wheel drive, I tell you, they drive like butter on sand and everything else. We've never gotten stuck, never even slowed down. So they do have some cachet to them. It's a lot of fun. Instead of just doing that by yourself, you're doing it with a whole bunch of other people that really love it. And like some other vehicles, Porsche, for example, if you have a Porsche sports car, they do this. But in Jeeps, they have something very special called a Jeep Wave. So as you're driving and you pass another Jeep, you'll see people who do 2 fingers or 1 finger or just wave or whatever it is. A lot of people will wave at you. So if you're not used to that, you've got all these strangers, if you will, waving at you. It's all part of the culture where owning a Jeep is not just a vehicle, it's about a lifestyle. And some people will say, from a branding standpoint, it's even closer to like the horse. And it's maybe an American cowboy or cowgirl type lifestyle. And so the Jeep is your horse riding across the plains and so on and so forth. And so a lot of people that own those Wranglers have that little bit of attitude and think differently than other types of vehicles. So the whole point is, beyond just the marketing tactics of the advertising or public relations or sales promotion, direct mail, direct marketing, or even personal selling, beyond all of that, and beyond all of the mix of just putting things together, there's this whole opportunity to really create something special to interact with the brand. And again, I like to always think about this, the brand, if it was a person, we'd like that person to be one of your good friends, and your good friend is coming over and you're going to have a great time together. And it's going to be a memorable time, and you're going to like yourself and you're going to like your friend even better because of that situation. So the brands that are doing that are the ones that are being very, very successful in winning. And so you see from these few examples we just talked about, these are great ways in which companies have figured out how to create something, instead of just the little parts, together it's bigger and stronger than any of the little parts.